Hi again, Doug here from X-Frames FPV, and today we've got a final thoughts video for you. And this one's been a while since I did the previous build out of it, and because we had some issues with some components, I wanted some specific components to put in it. And so what are we talking about here? We're talking about the Diatone GT2. This is the GT2 frame that we've completely redone. As you can see, we've put all the components inside, and that's one of the issues that I had, is making sure that I could fit everything in there, because we've got an F4 flight controller in there now, a 4-in-1 ESC, 200 milliwatt race VTX, so it's all stuck in there really nice and neat. It came out looking beautiful, and I'm so happy to get this to Peter in Singapore. So let's get it on the tabletop and just give it a really thorough look over. All right, here we go. Well, one of the things that took so long is I really wanted with this to have everything tucked inside, which is pretty hard with such a low profile. I mean, you can see there, look at that low profile. Here's another. This is a floss, which has a fairly low profile already. You can see how much lower it is. And so, you know, I didn't have to do it that way. They do have a larger side plate that you can tuck things in, and it's a lot easier. But the problem with that is I wanted this to look, this is a special one for Peter in Singapore. He got this for Christmas, and soon after it went for a little swim. And so I really wanted this to be special for him, and the gap between the camera and that top plate just looked nasty to me. So we ended up, we spec'd this out with the F3 flight controller from the all-in-one from Betaflight. That did not work. And what we ended up going with is the DYS F4 with the DYS, the F4, and then the DYS 30 amp ESC on the bottom, 4-in-1. And it's stuck in there. I'm going to get a little bit. You can see it's all kind of sandwiched in there. I even had to Dremel out the sides here so that everything would clear, and everything clears and fits in there really nice and neatly. But barely was able to get the VTX in there. Got a little tiny XM receiver tucked in there. And then obviously these motors, these are the rifle motors from RMRC or Ready Made RC, and they're just beautiful motor. And this naked bottom is kind of coming into the hobby pretty strong. Hyperlight is going to, in their motors, I think basically all of their motors are going to be naked bottoms. And you know, you get a little bit more material. You can make the material here a little bit stronger, and not have a lot of added weight, because it doesn't come all the way around the motor. If you stuff dirt in there, as opposed to getting stuffed in there and you having to take the bell off, it's a real simple thing just to kind of bang it out, or you know, spin it out or blow it out or whatever you need to do. So I really like these motors. Super smooth. Cogging is not too aggressive. Generally, you know, if the cogging is super aggressive, a lot of times I notice, especially in the mid-range, I have a hard time tuning them, or a harder time, so I got to spend more time with them. This thing, man, it was just, first time I maidened it, I've got a video I'm going to show you here. It was just as smooth as silk. And so I did a little tuning to it to get it to kind of the level that Peter wants it at, and we're going to send it to him. We went ahead and put 4 LEDs on here. He's going to be doing some line of sight, so we did green in the back, red in the front, kind of like DJI does. That way, if you see green, you're going away from you, and that's kind of the direction that makes it the easiest to control. So other than that, you know, like I said, component-wise, DYS F4, DYS 30 amp 4-in-1 ESC. This is the TBS Race VTX. Really easy to get in there and change the channel, which is really nice. And you can actually, it kind of seems like there's no way you're going to get to that little little receiver down there so that you can change the channel, or so you can bind it. And actually I made it where you can get in there really easily. You just and I took a picture for Peter and kind of highlighted it so that he can see. That's where you're able to bind it. So you'll never have to remove this. I slid in the control for the camera if you want to change the settings for the camera. I slid the control right in here, and you can actually take a pair of tweezers and pull that out. So all in all, you know, this is going to be a really great one for Peter. I think it's going to be very durable. It's really fast with these motors. Installed a buzzer for him there. This is just a standard linear out antenna, UFL mounted. And this he will probably never ever have an issue with this unless he gets it stuck in a prop, which it probably won't, being up there. Fox ear. This is the Monster V2, and great camera with a 2.5mm lens. So that's about it. Let's go to the video real quick and you can just see it hovering. All right, there you have it. That's the GT2. I'm calling it the GT2RS, just like with Porsche or those other brands. You know, the more letters or numbers they have, the better they are. And so this is the GT2RS. Great flyer. Took a little bit more time to do, but I think it was well worth it to get that really beautiful low profile look to it, and it handles absolutely well. Guys, appreciate you. Thank you for hanging in there. I know I'm not putting out content like I used to. I just am so busy that I don't have a lot of time to do it, and computer issues have caused some of the issue, but we're going to get that taken care of. Going to get a bunch of videos posted here, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And guys, again, you can check out my website, xframesfpv.com. That's xframesfpv.com. And you can see a bunch of builds there that I've done. There's some pricing. You know, I do custom tuning for people if they want me just to tune one. I've got a couple here that I'm going to be tuning for customer. I got this is for Jason in Texas, and this is a Hyperlight Evo with the pod and with the F42 motors, and so I'm going to do some tuning on that for him. We've also got this XB, and this is a really beautiful one, right? I love the looks of this XB, so I'm going to do some tuning on that for him with these really nice V4 Hyperlight motors. And so I think that's got the F4 flight controller in it from Hyperlight as well, Tramp VTX, and so I'm going to get some tuning done on that. We're also going to do some tuning on this, finish up tuning. I've got it 99% there, but I always like for Jason to get that extra 1% for him. This is the floss, and so we're going to get that tuned. And we got some really exciting stuff coming up. Peter in Singapore, I've got, I think, like 12 builds on the books for him that I'm going to be doing. So we're going to kind of put, as opposed to doing maybe a build out on every single one, I think I'm going to do a video that just kind of shows the different components that we're going to be using, because I have a lot of different components and some pretty exciting stuff. So again, guys, thank you so much. Hope you guys have some time to fly.